Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to the Bosscast, hosted by your very own Ajay Paul Dillon. Breaking news, 27 years later, there has finally been an arrest in the murder case of music legend Tupac Shakur. Finally, we have an arrest, a very interesting case, a case that's been going on for so long. I didn't know too much about this case, so I wanted to look into it. A lot of details are coming out now, so I kind of wrote down a little bit of what happened that night, a little bit of the information that we kind of had throughout the years, police giving the final details now. But Tupac was 25. He was at the peak of his career in 1996, an absolute legend, taking over the industry, making music for the world to hear. That night, he was in Las Vegas, Nevada, watching the Mike Tyson versus Sullivan fight in Las Vegas. That night, after the fight, he had ran into a rival gang member, Orlando Anderson, in the lobby of a hotel. His whole crew jumped him. They jumped him in the lobby. Pac jumped in. Suge Knight jumped in. They really messed up Orlando Anderson in that moment. And then they were seen leaving the hotel rapidly. They absolutely left the hotel. They got out of that area. Afterwards, they decided to go to Club 662. Now, 662 stands for mob on an analog phone, the letters MOB. So this is a mob-owned club. They decided to go there for an after party. Orlando Anderson and his crew were actually there at the club. They wanted to get him afterwards. They were there. They did not see him. They decided to leave the club. They started driving around looking for Tupac. Tupac was then seen on the Las Vegas Strip in a BMW. It is said that he was hanging out of the window, hollering at people on the street. There were girls screaming Tupac, and that's how these guys were able to spot Tupac in a busy, crowded area in Las Vegas, Nevada. A white Cadillac then pulled up on Tupac and Suge Knight in their BMW, and a drive-by shooting occurred. Tupac was shot multiple times that night. This was the night of September 7th, 1996. He was then transported to hospital where he died 6 days later. People thought he was going to make it through it. He had gotten shot once before, and he made it through that one. Because he didn't die immediately, a lot of the original hopes was he was going to make it through this one. Unfortunately, he did not make it through, and he was pronounced dead 6 days later. And it's been an unsolved case ever since. People have had so many theories behind this. People blamed P Diddy. People blamed Suge Knight. Even though Tupac was signed to his record label, there was rumors that Tupac was going to leave his record label. So people had kind of said Suge Knight set this up. All of his beef with Notorious B.I.G. around that time, people thought he was involved with the murder. People even thought police officers were involved in this murder because there was a lot of off-duty police officers working with organizations such as Death Row Records. P Diddy even had cops on payroll. So there were so many theories. 27 years later, there has finally been an arrest. Keefe D has been arrested by Las Vegas police after so many years. Finally, there's finally a case, finally someone that has been arrested. Now, speaking about this is 27 years later. I can't believe this case has been dragged on for so long. I'm listening to a lot of these interviews that the police are now releasing and their statements, and it looks like they have had evidence on the suspects for a while. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to then go arrest them. Over the last 5 years, Keefe D has appeared on multiple YouTube interviews, multiple podcasts, and essentially incriminated himself by giving out the information, talking about what he knows, flexing that he has been a part of this murder, and essentially that has now given the evidence for police to then go ahead and make this arrest. 27 years later, Keefe D has been charged for the murder of Tupac Shakur. Keefe D is 60 years old. So this is 27 years later. He's lived essentially a whole nother half life, a whole life in comparison to how old he was at the time. And now finally he has been arrested. Tupac's brother, his stepbrother, he's on the sidelines right now. He has a lot to say. He's saying, why is this arrest happening after so many years of this guy talking all of his shit on podcasts, on YouTube, saying that he had done this? Why has it taken so long? Finally, though, this man has been charged, Keefe D, and we finally have, I guess, an end to this case. There were 3 other people in the car, as we are learning from the press conferences by the Las Vegas police. The 3 other people in the car have since been dead. They have died a very long time ago. They were all retaliation kills that happened after the murder of Tupac Shakur. Orlando Anderson, who was the main suspect, the guy that got jumped that night, he is the one that is he is the guy that was seen to be the shooter that night. He's the guy that let the bullets fly. He was killed about a couple of months after that murder. So he had already been dealt with a long time ago. 27 years later, Keefe D, who was the passenger of this car, who was the guy that obtained the firearm, the guy that passed the firearm to the back seat and ordered the kill, he is the guy that is still alive. He has been arrested. 27 years later, justice will be served. Now, what's next? This opens up so many other things. And the reason why is because now Keefe D is going to speak. Keefe D is going to be interrogated. Keefe D is going to go through the court system, and he may let more evidence come out. There has been a lot of theories with this murder so far. Leading up to this, Keefe D has now also said that P Diddy owes him $1 million for a hit that was put out on Tupac. So I don't know exactly how all of this evidence is going to come together, but from what it seems like, Keefe D is now letting the world know who put that hit out and who still owes him money. So what is this going to lead to? Is this going to lead to P Diddy being arrested? I don't know where this evidence is going to take us. I don't know where this case is going to take us. But from the initial talks, from the initial things that are coming out, it looks like Keefe D is pointing fingers at P Diddy. P Diddy may have been the guy behind the murder of Tupac Shakur that night. Absolutely horrendous ending to that incredible music legend's life. Killed on the Las Vegas Strip 27 years later. Finally, there has been arrests. There may be more arrests coming. We don't know. P Diddy, if you start seeing some things go down, I don't know, man. I don't know. 27 years later, people are getting arrested. Let's see where this case goes. Tupac Shakur, music legend. Legends never die. You guys can listen to that music legend's music all around the world on every single major platform. Tupac Shakur, justice is being served. 27 years later, let's see where this case takes us. Is P Diddy next? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. You are now tuned in to the Bosscast, hosted by your very own Ajay Paul Dellon.